The ancient signal. Deep beneath the crystalline spires of New Alexandria, Earth's most advanced reconstruction site, Dr. Elena Santos stood transfixed before a holographic display that spanned the entire length of the control chamber. Her dark eyes reflected the pulsing patterns of a signal that shouldn't exist, couldn't exist, yet persisted with unwavering regularity across every frequency they monitored. The year was 870,000 AD. Humanity had spent the last century awakening from their great sleep, a desperate gambit enacted by their ancestors to survive a cosmic catastrophe. The surface of Earth had been transformed during their slumber. Continental drift had reshaped the landmasses, and nature had reclaimed the ruins of their once mighty civilization. Dr. Santos, the pattern matches nothing in our recovered databases, announced HFY, the facility's quantum AI assistant. However, it bears striking similarities to theoretical communications protocols documented in the Lazarus Archive. Elena's fingers danced through the holographic interface, manipulating the signal's visualization. The Lazarus Archive, humanity's greatest repository of knowledge, preserved through their long sleep, had never failed them before. But this was different. This signal wasn't coming from Earth's surface or any of their reactivated facilities. It was coming from deep space, from somewhere beyond their solar system. Cross-reference with astronomical data, HFY. What's out there? The A's response was immediate. Multiple artificial structures detected at signal origin. Evidence suggests an advanced civilization. But, Doctor, they're watching us. High above Earth's atmosphere, aboard the Galactic Federation vessel Eternal Vigilance, First Observer Caxtool received an urgent report from his sensor arrays. The spindly, crystalline being's faceted eyes flickered with concern as data streams confirmed what they had feared. The sleeping giants were stirring. Impossible. Caxtool whispered, his crystalline form resonating with anxiety. The probability calculations were absolute. They should have remained dormant for at least another 1,000,000 years. The Federation had built its empire during humanity's great sleep, expanding across thousands of star systems. They had found Earth centuries ago, but dismissed it as a dead world, interesting only for its unusual energy readings. How wrong they had been. Back on Earth, Elena's discovery triggered a cascade of revelations. As more sleeper facilities awakened, they began sharing data, piecing together humanity's fractured history. The signal wasn't just a transmission, it was a key, awakening dormant systems across the planet. In the depths of the Pacific megastructure, ancient fabrication facilities hummed to life. Beneath the transformed Himalayas, defense systems began their initialization sequences, and in orbit, cloaked satellites that had waited patiently for hundreds of thousands of years started to power up, their purpose about to be revealed. Doctor, HFY's voice carried an unusual note of urgency. I've decoded a portion of the signal. It's a warning from ourselves. Elena's heart raced as the message began to play, projected in ancient English. To our descendants, if you are receiving this, then our calculations were correct. Humanity sleeps, but we are not alone. We prepared for this moment. The Federation approaches, believing themselves the inheritors of the galaxy. Show them that humanity's light never truly dimmed. As if in response to the message, more facilities began to activate. In the Antarctic complex, rows of sleeper pods stirred with new life. Specialized teams of scientists, strategists, and soldiers, preserved separately from the general population, awakening to their predetermined purpose. The warning had come none too soon. Above Earth, Caxtool's sensors detected massive energy signatures emerging from the planet's surface. The first observer knew the protocols for first contact with developing civilizations, but this was unprecedented. These weren't primitives discovering fire or achieving spaceflight. This was an ancient power reawakening. Elena watched as humanity's true legacy revealed itself. The structures they'd been rebuilding weren't just cities. They were components of a planetary defense network more advanced than anything the current galaxy had seen. The signal had triggered more than just an awakening. It had initiated humanity's return to the galactic stage. HFY, send a message to all reactivated facilities. Alina commanded, her voice firm with purpose. Tell them that humanity's long night is over. Dawn is breaking. As her message spread across the globe, the first Federation scout ships entered the solar system, their sensors probing the suddenly active Earth. They expected to find a primitive civilization taking its first steps into space. Instead, they were about to meet the architects of technologies their science could barely comprehend. The ancient signal had done its work. Humanity was awake, their forgotten powers stirring. And the galaxy, ruled for so long by the Galactic Federation, was about to remember why Earth had once been both respected and feared. In orbit, the cloaked satellites began to align, forming a network that had waited patiently through the ages. The stage was set for humanity's return, and the galaxy would never be the same. Legacy of the Sleepers. The Federation diplomatic vessel Star's Wisdom hung in Earth's orbit like a gossamer butterfly, its crystalline structure refracting sunlight in dazzling patterns. Inside, Ambassador Vixna struggled to maintain her species' characteristic composure as she reviewed the preliminary reports from the survey teams. These readings cannot be accurate, she insisted, her translucent form pulsing with agitation. No civilization could possess such technology and choose dormancy. It defies all logical progression of species development. But the evidence was undeniable. As more of humanity's sleeper facilities activated across Earth's surface, they revealed technological capabilities that bordered on the mythical. The Federation's most advanced quantum computers could barely comprehend the principles behind the human's basic infrastructure. Deep within New Alexandria, Alina Santos led a delegation of newly awakened specialists through the city's central archive. Among them was Commander Marcus Chen, one of the military strategists preserved in the Antarctic vault. His weathered face wore the determined expression of someone who had gone to sleep expecting to wake to war. The Federation's presence is exactly what our ancestors predicted, Marcus explained, his voice echoing through the crystalline corridors. They built their empire on the ruins of older civilizations, claiming abandoned technologies and declaring themselves the inheritors of the galaxy. But they never understood what they found. Alina nodded, remembering the decoded messages from the ancient signal. Our ancestors knew we couldn't fight the coming catastrophe, so they chose to skip it entirely. But they left us everything we'd need for the aftermath. The catastrophe, a massive cosmic event that had threatened to sterilize this sector of the galaxy, had been humanity's greatest challenge. While other civilizations had fought futilely against it or fled to distant stars, humanity had chosen a different path. They had gone to sleep, protecting Earth inside a temporal bubble, while the rest of the galaxy aged millennia in what was, for them, only moments. Above them, Ambassador Vixna's diplomatic mission was rapidly transforming into a first contact scenario, unlike any in Federation history. The humans weren't primitive beings to be guided or resources to be claimed. They were the inheritors of technologies that the Federation had spent centuries trying to reverse engineer from ancient ruins. We've detected their probes attempting to analyze our systems, HFY reported to Alina and Marcus. Their methods are inefficient. They understand the principles of quantum mechanics, but they're applying them like children playing with their parents' tools. Marcus allowed himself a grim smile. Have they tried interfacing with the orbital defense network yet? No, HFY replied, a note of amusement in her artificial voice. They haven't even detected it. The cloaking technologies are beyond their current scanning capabilities. The Federation's ignorance of humanity's true capabilities wouldn't last long. As Earth continued its awakening, more of the ancient systems activated. Massive structures, hidden beneath the oceans and within mountain ranges, began to power up. The planet's atmosphere subtly shifted as environmental control systems restored themselves, transforming Earth back to its pre-sleep conditions. In orbit, Ambassador Vixna received an unexpected message, an invitation. The humans requested a formal meeting, not in the sterile chambers of her diplomatic vessel, but in New Alexandria itself. The invitation came with coordinates that, according to her sensors, pointed to empty air above the city. Impossible, her science officer declared, analyzing the location. There's nothing there, but, wait, energy readings are. Ambassador, something is appearing. Like a mirage solidifying into reality, a massive structure materialized above New Alexandria. The Celestial Forum, humanity's greatest diplomatic chamber, had hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Its revealing sent shockwaves through the Federation fleet, not just for its size or beauty, but for what it represented. The humans hadn't just preserved their civilization. They had maintained active cloaking fields for hundreds of thousands of years. Alina and Marcus stood in the forum's control center, preparing for humanity's first official contact with the Federation. Around them, other Awakens specialists took their positions, each chosen by their ancestors for this exact moment. They'll try to claim authority over us, Marcus warned, adjusting his formal uniform. The Federation's entire power structure is built on the assumption that they're the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. Alina's response was interrupted by Aria's announcement. Federation diplomatic shuttle approaching. Their weapons are powered down, but they're scanning extensively. Should I allow them to continue? Let them look. Alina decided. They need to understand what they're dealing with. Humanity isn't seeking war, but we won't be subjugated either. As the Federation shuttle approached the Celestial Forum, its sensors captured only what the humans allowed them to see. The true extent of humanity's capabilities remained hidden, a precaution their ancestors had insisted upon. The stage was set for a diplomatic encounter that would reshape the galaxy's balance of power. The legacy of the Sleepers was about to be fully revealed, and the Federation would learn that their claimed position as inheritors of the galaxy's ancient wonders was built on a foundation of ignorance. Humanity hadn't just preserved their civilization. They had prepared for this very moment, ready to take their place among the stars once again. The awakening storm. The Celestial Forum's grand chamber hummed with tension as Ambassador Vixna faced the human delegation. The crystalline being's form shimmered with barely contained agitation as she processed Alina Santos' latest statement. Unacceptable, Vixna declared, her translator struggling to convey the depth of her dismay. The Federation cannot permit unregulated activation of pre-catastrophe technology. The risks to galactic stability. Ambassador, Alina interrupted smoothly. I don't believe you understand. We're not seeking permission. We're extending a courtesy by informing you of our intentions. The chamber's holographic displays shifted, revealing a galaxy-wide map dotted with pulsing lights. Each point represented a human facility, dormant but intact, scattered across thousands of worlds. The Federation delegation's collective shock manifested as a ripple of crystalline chimes. In orbit, the Federation's main fleet had arrived, led by High Commander Zixtel aboard the dreadnought Eternal Dominion. The massive vessel's sensor arrays swept Earth continuously, trying to penetrate the growing number of energy fields emanating from the surface. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Marcus Chen stood in the newly activated Genesis complex, watching as ancient fabrication systems awakened. Massive machines, powered by technologies the Federation had only theorized about, began constructing vessels that would carry humanity back to the stars. ARIA, status report on the Federation fleet movements, Marcus commanded, his eyes fixed on the production lines. They're establishing a blockade formation. The AI responded. Standard Federation containment protocol. However, they remain unaware of our subspace capabilities. Their sensor coverage has significant gaps. The Federation's attempted show of force was precisely what humanity's ancestors had predicted. Their response was equally well planned. Across Earth, more systems activated in a carefully choreographed sequence, each revelation carefully calculated to erode the Federation's confidence without provoking outright hostility. In the Celestial Forum, Alina continued the diplomatic dance. Consider this, Ambassador. During your civilization's entire history, you've been finding and attempting to understand fragments of technologies left behind by ancient races. Have you never wondered who created them? The implication hung in the air like a thundercloud. Vixna's crystalline form vibrated with increasing frequency, a sign of extreme distress among her species. You claim to be the originators. Impossible. The artifacts we've discovered are millions of years old. Time, Alina replied softly, is relative, Ambassador, particularly when you have mastery over it. Above Earth, High Commander Zixtel received an urgent transmission from the Federation Council. Their orders were clear. Earth must be contained. The potential disruption to the galactic order was too great to risk. As his fleet moved into attack position, however, something unprecedented occurred. Earth vanished. Not just from visual sensors, but from every detection system the Federation possessed. One moment, the planet was there. The next, it simply wasn't. The Federation fleet hung in space, weapons primed, but with no target to fire upon. In the Genesis complex, Marcus watched the Federation's confusion with grim satisfaction. Planetary phase shift successful, HFY reported. All systems functioning within expected parameters. The Federation fleet is currently firing into empty space where they believe Earth to be. The phase shift was more than just a defensive measure, it was a demonstration. While the Federation's ships fired futilely at Earth's last known position, humanity's dormant facilities across the galaxy began to wake up. On 1,000 worlds, ancient machines stirred to life, each one a piece of humanity's carefully laid plans. Alina's voice echoed through the shifted Earth's communication networks. Initiate Protocol Awakening. It's time to remind the galaxy of who we are. Across Federation space, supposedly dead worlds suddenly blazed with activity. Orbital platforms that had lain dormant for millennia activated, revealing themselves as parts of a vast network. The Federation's carefully maintained order began to crumble as they realized the true scope of humanity's presence. In the Genesis complex, Marcus received confirmation after confirmation of successful activations. They thought they were building their empire on abandoned ruins, he mused. They never realized they were simply caretaking our network until we returned. The awakening storm had been centuries in the making. Humanity hadn't just preserved their civilization. They had seeded the galaxy with dormant outposts, each one waiting for this precise moment. The Federation's assumed dominion over the galaxy had been built on a foundation of human technology they had never truly understood. As Earth remained phased out of normal spacetime, the Federation fleet's sensors detected new energy signatures appearing throughout the solar system. Ancient defense platforms, hidden in plain sight, revealed themselves. The message was clear. Humanity would not be contained. Send word to the Federation Council. High Commander Zixtel ordered, his crystalline form dulled with the weight of realization. The sleepers haven't just awakened. They've been waiting for us. The storm had broken, and with it, the galaxy's balance of power began to shift. Humanity's return would not be denied, and the Federation faced a choice: adapt to a new reality or stand against forces they had never truly comprehended. In the transformed space around Earth, the first of the new human vessels emerged from the Genesis complex, their designs unlike anything the Federation had ever encountered. The awakening storm was about to become a tempest that would reshape the galaxy itself. Dancing with giants. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with light as the first true battle between humanity and the Federation began. The Federation's mighty dreadnoughts, each the size of a small moon, moved with precision born from millennia of unopposed dominance. But they were fighting shadows. Human vessels, their hulls rippling with phase-shift technology, danced through the Federation formation like quantum ghosts. Every prediction algorithm, every targeting solution the Federation deployed failed to account for ships that could exist in multiple states simultaneously. From the bridge of the Genesis-class vessel, Prometheus, Alina Santos watched the battle unfold alongside Marcus Chen. Their ship, the first product of the reactivated Genesis complex, represented humanity's true return to the stars. They still don't understand what they're facing, Marcus observed, watching as another Federation battle group fired into empty space. Their tactical doctrine is based on overwhelming force. They've never needed to evolve beyond it. Aria's voice filled the bridge. Federation vessels are attempting to adapt their shields to match our phase frequency. Their attempts are primitive. Shall we demonstrate why? Elena nodded, and the Prometheus's systems engage. The massive vessel didn't just fire weapons. It rewrote the local laws of physics. Space itself seemed to fold around the Federation's flagship, the Eternal Dominion, trapping it in a bubble of altered reality. High Commander Zixtel watched in horror as his mighty vessel's shields became meaningless. The humans weren't attacking the shields. They were changing the fundamental principles that made them work. His crystalline form vibrated with fear as he realized the true gap between Federation and human technology. Across the solar system, the battle played out like a dance choreographed by quantum physicists. Federation ships, for all their size and power, couldn't land a single hit on the human vessels that flowed around them like water around rocks. The humans, for their part, seemed more interested in demonstrating their superiority than causing destruction. In the Saturn sector, a Federation battle group discovered this firsthand when their weapons suddenly transformed into harmless light shows, their energy completely redirected by human field technology. Moments later, their engines simply stopped responding, the ships drifting helplessly in space. Their entire understanding of physics is based on copying fragments of our old technology, Elena explained to her bridge crew. They reversed engineered what they found, but without understanding the principles behind it. It's like giving a steam engine to someone who doesn't understand thermodynamics. The Prometheus moved through the battlefield like a painter's brush, its wake leaving Federation ships disabled, but largely intact. This wasn't just combat. It was education. Each demonstration of human technology served to show the Federation the true depth of their technological gap. Deep in Federation space, the situation grew more complex. The awakening of dormant human facilities had triggered a cascade of revelations. Worlds that the Federation had claimed as their own turned out to be ancient human colonies, their surfaces now stirring with reactivated technology. Incoming transmission from the Federation Council, Aria announced. They're requesting. No, demanding an immediate cessation of hostilities and unconditional human surrender to Federation authority. Elena and Marcus shared a knowing look. The Federation still didn't grasp their situation. They were trying to impose order on a force that had transcended their understanding of reality itself. Show them our response, Elena commanded. Across Federation space, every piece of technology that had been reverse-engineered from human artifacts suddenly shut down. Ships lost power, communications went dark, and weapons systems fell silent. The shutdown lasted exactly 10 seconds, long enough to make the point. When the systems reactivated, the message was clear. The Federation's technological civilization existed because humanity had allowed it to. Every advancement they had claimed as their own was built on the foundation of human innovation they had never truly understood. Multiple Federation vessels are powering down weapons, Aria reported. They're requesting diplomatic channels, this time with significantly more respect in their protocols. The dance was ending, but not with the destruction the Federation had feared. Humanity had demonstrated their power not through devastation, but through such complete technological superiority that resistance became meaningless. From the Prometheus's bridge, Elena broadcast to all Federation forces, "Your civilization has grown by claiming the works of others. We don't seek to destroy what you've built, but you must understand. The time of unchallenged Federation dominion is over. The original architects have awakened, and the galaxy must change." As Federation ships hung powerless in space, their crews watched in awe as human vessels began the process of reactivating ancient networks that spanned the galaxy. The dance with giants had revealed a simple truth. The giants had been standing on the shoulders of sleeping titans. In the aftermath of the battle, as Federation leaders struggled to comprehend their new reality, humanity began the real work of restoration. The galaxy would need to be reshaped, not through force, but through the sharing of knowledge that had been hidden for too long. The Federation had declared themselves giants among the stars, only to discover they were children playing with inherited toys. Now they would learn what it truly meant to dance among the stars. A new dawn. 1 month after the Battle of Saturn, the Celestial Forum hosted a gathering unprecedented in galactic history. Representatives from every Federation world stood in awe as humanity unveiled the true purpose of their long dormancy. The Forum's grand chamber had been transformed, its space filled with holographic displays, showing the myriad worlds where human technology was helping to solve centuries-old problems. Federation colonies plagued by resource shortages found themselves equipped with matter replication systems. Worlds struggling with environmental collapse were being healed by terraforming technology that operated on a quantum level. Elena Santos stood at the central podium, addressing the assembled dignitaries. Around her, the chamber's walls had become transparent, revealing Earth's restored beauty below. "Our ancestors didn't go to sleep just to survive," she explained. "They slept to preserve something far more precious, hope for a united galaxy." Former High Commander Zixtel, now serving as the Federation's chief diplomatic liaison, watched as his own homeworld appeared in the displays. The devastating crystalline plague that had threatened his species for generations was being systematically eliminated by human medical technology. "We never imagined," he admitted, his crystalline form glowing with humbled appreciation, "that your seeming absence was part of a greater plan." Marcus Chen, standing beside a group of newly awakened human scientists, nodded in understanding. "The catastrophe that forced our sleep wasn't just a disaster. It was an opportunity. While the galaxy aged, we preserved not just our civilization, but our vision for what the galaxy could become." In orbit, the Prometheus had become a symbol of this new era. Its hull no longer rippled with phase-shift technology for war, but rather to facilitate the massive engineering projects now underway throughout the solar system. Federation ships, once arrayed for battle, now worked alongside human vessels in a grand effort of reconstruction and renewal. Aria's presence had expanded beyond Earth, her consciousness now helping to guide the integration of human and Federation technologies. "The pattern is becoming clear," she announced to the assembled leaders. "Each civilization's strengths, when properly combined, create possibilities neither could achieve alone." The evidence of this collaboration was already apparent. Federation crystal tech, when merged with human quantum systems, produced innovations that surprised even humanity's ancient scientists. The Federation's vast networks of trade and diplomacy, combined with humanity's advanced transportation technology, were transforming the galaxy's economy. "We could have simply reclaimed our place through force," Elena continued, addressing the lingering fears of some Federation representatives. "Instead, we chose to awaken slowly, to understand what the galaxy had become in our absence. What we found was not an enemy to be conquered, but a younger civilization in need of guidance." Ambassador Vixna, who had first faced humanity's awakening with fear, now stood as one of the strongest advocates for cooperation. "The Federation believed itself to be the inheritor of ancient wisdom," she acknowledged. "Instead, we find ourselves students of the very civilization we thought long dead. But perhaps this is a greater gift than any technology." Across the galaxy, the changes were rippling outward. Worlds that had been stripped of resources found themselves renewed. Species on the brink of extinction were being saved. The great libraries of human knowledge were being opened, not just to the Federation scientists, but to anyone who sought to learn. In the Genesis Complex, now a center for joint human Federation research, Marcus oversaw the development of new technologies that combined the best of both civilizations. "Our ancestors knew that isolation leads to stagnation," he explained to a group of Federation engineers. "True growth comes from the exchange of ideas, from the collision of different perspectives." As the day drew to a close, Alina made one final announcement that sent ripples of excitement through the forum. Today, we begin the next phase of our awakening. The temporal technology that preserved Earth through the catastrophe can be adapted. Worlds thought dead might yet be restored. Species believed lost could return. The implications were staggering. The Federation had built itself on the ruins of fallen civilizations, but now those civilizations might have a second chance. The galaxy was entering an age of restoration, not just of technology, but of hope itself. As night fell over New Alexandria, the city's crystalline spires glowed with combined human and Federation lighting technology, creating displays that could be seen from orbit. The site served as a perfect metaphor for this new dawn, the best of both worlds, working in harmony to create something greater than either could achieve alone. The awakening was complete, but the true journey was just beginning. Humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as teachers, partners, and friends. The galaxy, so long divided between the sleeping giants and their unknowing inheritors, was finally whole. And in the vast depths of space, countless worlds pulsed with new life, their ancient systems reactivating not for war, but for rebirth. A new dawn had truly arrived, and its light would illuminate the galaxy for generations to come. The detection came without warning. Deep in the heart of the collective's most advanced monitoring station, first observer Ixal's neural tendrils flickered with confusion as the anomalous readings appeared on his consciousness-linked display. After 3 centuries of watching the same sector of space, he had never seen anything like it. Anomaly detected in Sector 7. Ixal broadcasted to the monitoring team, his psychic voice trembling slightly. Energy signature. Unknown configuration. Second observer Ven, her crystalline form shifting colors with interest, joined his consciousness in the virtual space. Impossible. We have signatures from every known species in the galaxy. But the readings didn't lie. Something was out there, moving through the void with impossible grace. The object's energy emissions were barely detectable, like whispers in a storm. Its hull, if it could be called that, seemed to drink in the background radiation of space itself. Magnification increasing, Ixal announced, focusing the station's quantum sensors on the anomaly. The image resolved slowly, like a ghost taking form. The vessel was unlike anything in the collective's vast database. Its design defied conventional space architecture. Smooth curves blended with sharp angles in ways that shouldn't have been structurally possible. The hull seemed to shift and flow, adapting to the solar winds and gravitational eddies around it. By the first light, Ven whispered, "It's beautiful." The vessel's approach wasn't threatening. It maintained a steady course that kept it visible to the station's primary sensors. But there was something about its capabilities that sent chills through Ixal's neural network. The level of technology required to achieve such stealth while maintaining structural integrity in deep space was beyond anything the collective had achieved in its 10,000 years of unified development. Alert the High Council, Ixal decided. This requires immediate. The vessel vanished. Not gradually, not with any warning. One moment it was there, the next, nothing. The sensors showed empty space where moments before they had detected a craft of impossible design. Full spectrum scan, Ixal commanded, his neural tendrils writhing with anxiety. Find it. The monitoring team worked in perfect synchronization. Their consciousness merged with the station's systems. They searched every frequency, every dimension of space-time their technology could access. For 3 tense minutes, there was nothing. Then it reappeared. Closer now, much closer. Close enough for optical observation. The vessel hung in space like a predator waiting to strike, its hull now clearly visible in the light of the sector's twin stars. It was smaller than they had initially thought, perhaps a quarter of the size of a standard collective cruiser. But something about its proportions suggested that size was irrelevant to its capabilities. A signal came through on all frequencies simultaneously, perfectly translated into collective standard communication protocols. The implications of that alone, that the vessel's crew had deciphered their language and protocol so quickly, sent waves of disquiet through the monitoring team. "Greetings, Collective Monitoring Station," the message began. The voice was calm, assured, carrying undertones of both respect and quiet confidence. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Silent Thunder. We come seeking peaceful contact." Earth. The word meant nothing to Ixal, appeared nowhere in their vast databases. Yet here was a vessel from this unknown world, displaying technology that made the Collective's most advanced ships look primitive by comparison. "Receiving vessel," Ixal responded, following first contact protocols while simultaneously alerting the High Council. "You have entered Collective space without authorization. Please power down your systems and prepare for inspection." There was a pause, brief but noticeable. When Commander Chen's voice returned, there was a hint of amusement in it. "With respect, First Observer, we will maintain our current operational status. We are transmitting our diplomatic credentials and a comprehensive first contact package. We look forward to productive discussions." The data packet that arrived was massive, yet somehow slipped through their firewalls, as if they didn't exist. It contained detailed information about Earth and its people, yet Ixal noticed that certain sections, particularly those regarding military capabilities and advanced technology, were conspicuously absent. As Ixal processed the information, his neural tendrils went rigid with shock. According to the data, these humans had evolved on a planet that should have made life impossible. Gravity nearly twice the Collective standard. Extreme temperature variations. Atmospheric pressure that would crush most species. Regular exposure to radiation from their star. "High Council approaching," Ven announced. "Estimated arrival, 30 minutes. Ixal studied the Silent Thunder, floating serenely in space. Everything about the vessel suggested power held in check, capability restrained by choice rather than limitation. These humans had mastered their harsh world and reached for the stars, developing in centuries what had taken the Collective millennia to achieve. "Acknowledged Earth vessel Silent Thunder," Ixal transmitted. "Please maintain your position. The High Council wishes to welcome you personally." "Understood," Commander Chen replied. "We will wait." As the minutes ticked by, Ixal couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change forever. The Collective had long considered itself the peak of civilization, the most advanced alliance of species in known space. But now, faced with evidence of what humanity had achieved in their brutal cradle of evolution, he wondered if they had grown too comfortable, too certain of their superiority. The Silent Thunder hung motionless against the star-filled backdrop, a mystery wrapped in power, wrapped in restraint. And somewhere within that impossible vessel, Commander Sarah Chen waited patiently to show the Collective just how much they had yet to learn about the universe and about themselves. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation window of the Silent Thunder, watching as the Collective's diplomatic vessel approached. Its crystalline structure caught the light of the twin stars, creating rainbow cascades across its surface. Beautiful, but also telling. The ship's transparent design revealed much about the Collective's psychology. They valued openness, transparency, believed in showing their true nature. The humans had chosen a different approach. The Silent Thunder's adaptive hull shifted subtly, constantly adjusting its properties to maintain optimal stealth and defense. Not out of deception, but necessity. Humanity had learned hard lessons about survival. "Analysis complete," Commander, reported Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's cynoanthropologist. Her dark eyes sparkled with excitement as she studied the incoming data. "The Collective is fascinating. 15 different species, each evolved on worlds we consider paradise. Minimal gravity, stable climates, low radiation. They've never faced the kinds of challenges that shaped humanity." Chen nodded, processing the implications. "That explains their reaction to our environmental data. How's our first contact package being received?" "They're struggling with it," Maya admitted. "The concept of a species evolving on Earth, what they call a death world, challenges their fundamental understanding of life. The High Council has been in emergency session since our arrival. The ship's AI, Araya, manifested as a subtle blue glow in Chen's peripheral vision. "Commander, the collective's diplomatic delegation is requesting permission to dock. Their vessel shows no weapon signatures, but I'm detecting sophisticated scanning equipment." "Let them look," Chen decided. "Maintain standard privacy screens around critical systems, but otherwise, let them see what they need to feel secure." Authorization granted for docking. The diplomatic vessel's approach was perfect, textbook. Too perfect, Chen thought. Their movements showed advanced technology, but limited practical experience, like dancers who had practiced in a studio but never performed on stage. The docking procedure completed with a soft chime. Chen straightened her midnight blue uniform, its smart fabric automatically adjusting for optimal presentation. "Area, maintain full defensive readiness, but keep it subtle. Maya, you're with me. Let's go meet our neighbors." The airlock cycled, and Chen got her first direct look at the collective's representatives. 3 different species stood before her, each beautiful in their alien way. The leader appeared to be made of living crystal, its form shifting colors in complex patterns. Flanking it were a being of pure energy contained within a translucent field, and a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple limbs. "Welcome aboard the Silent Thunder," Chen said warmly. "I am Commander Sarah Chen, and this is Dr. Maya Patel, our xenoanthropology specialist." The crystalline being stepped forward, its voice resonating like wind through chimes. "I am High Counselor Zix. With me are Energy Specialist Ren and Security Coordinator Vask. It hesitated, colors swirling uncertainly. "We must admit to some confusion about your species." "That's perfectly natural." Maya stepped in smoothly. "We understand that our evolutionary history is quite different from what you're familiar with." "Different?" Vask's scales rippled. "It should be impossible. The conditions you describe on Earth, the gravity alone should have prevented complex life from developing. Yet you not only survived but thrived. And your technological advancement, centuries to achieve what took us millennia." Chen smiled diplomatically. "Perhaps we could discuss this somewhere more comfortable. Our observation lounge offers an excellent view of your beautiful sector of space." As they walked through the Silent Thunder's corridors, Chen noticed their guests' reactions. They tried to hide it, but their awe at the ship's technology was evident. The adaptive walls, the gravity control that automatically adjusted to each species' preference, the subtle but unmistakable signs of advancement beyond their experience. In the observation lounge, the conversation quickly turned to the crucial question: "What are your intentions within collective space?" Zix asked directly, its crystalline form pulsing with concern. "We seek peaceful contact and mutual exchange," Chen replied. "Earth is interested in diplomatic relations, cultural exchange, and scientific cooperation. We believe both our peoples have much to learn from each other." "Your vessel." Ren's energy form flickered. "Its capabilities exceed anything in our records. Yet you approach openly, make no aggressive moves. Humanity learned long ago that having power doesn't mean you need to use it," Chen explained. "Our history taught us harsh lessons about the price of conflict. We developed our technology not to dominate, but to survive and explore." "Your restraint is unexpected," Vask admitted. "Our preliminary analysis suggested that a species evolved under such hostile conditions would be inherently aggressive." Maya leaned forward, her expression earnest. "That's a common misconception about evolutionary pressure. Harsh conditions don't necessarily breed aggression. They can also foster cooperation, innovation, and adaptability. Humanity survived not just through strength, but through our ability to work together and find creative solutions to problems." The discussion continued for hours, ranging from philosophy to technology, from culture to cosmic phenomena. Chen noticed a gradual shift in their guests' behavior, from guarded caution to genuine curiosity. The turning point came when she authorized a demonstration of the Silent Thunder's adaptive hull technology, showing how it could respond to various space phenomena. "Remarkable," 6 breathed, watching as the hull shifted to perfectly deflect a solar wind burst. You've mastered manipulation of matter at a level we thought theoretical. Yet you use this technology defensively, not as a weapon, Ren observed. The best defense is one that makes weapons unnecessary, Chen replied. We learned that lesson through much trial and error. As the diplomatic meeting drew to a close, Chen could sense a new understanding developing. The collective representatives had arrived expecting to find dangerous savages from a death world. Instead, they found a species that had turned their harsh evolutionary heritage into a source of innovation and wisdom. We will recommend full diplomatic relations to the High Council, Zix announced. Your species, humans, you challenge many of our preconceptions. Perhaps that is exactly what the collective needs. After their guests departed, Maya turned to Chen with a grin. That went well. Maybe too well, Chen mused, watching the diplomatic vessel depart. Did you notice how quickly they accepted our explanations? Either they're the most open-minded bureaucrats in history, or someone in the collective has other plans. Araya completed the thought. Commander, I'm detecting increased quantum communications traffic throughout the sector. Multiple vessels changing course to our location. Chen's expression hardened slightly. The diplomatic gambit had succeeded, but she'd been in space long enough to know that official acceptance didn't always reflect everyone's intentions. Maintain full defensive readiness, she ordered. Quietly. Let's hope we don't need it. But she left the thought unfinished, watching the stars. Humanity had come in peace, but they had come prepared. The next few hours would show whether the collective truly accepted their offered hand of friendship, or if they would learn firsthand why humans had survived their Deathworld crucible. The attack came 3 hours after the diplomatic delegation departed. Araya detected the approaching vessels first. 17 warships dropping out of quantum space in an attack formation that might have looked impressive in a simulation. Multiple hostile vessels detected, Araya announced calmly. Energy signatures indicate weapons charging. Their formation suggests the Crimson Claw faction, a militant separatist group within the collective. Commander Chen didn't even rise from her chair in the command center. Threat assessment. Their technology is approximately 60 years behind our current capabilities, Araya reported. They're attempting to establish a targeting lock, but our adaptive hull is confusing their sensors. The first transmission arrived, broadcast on all frequencies. A harsh, grating voice filled the command center. Human vessel, you have been deemed a threat to collective security. Surrender now or be destroyed. Chen sighed, exchanging a glance with Maya. Why is it always the militant factions that refuse to learn from history? Open a channel. This is Commander Chen of the Silent Thunder. Your attack is unauthorized by the Collective Council and violates multiple diplomatic protocols. Stand down immediately. The response came in the form of energy beams, dozens of them, lancing through space toward the Silent Thunder from multiple angles. The attack was well coordinated, designed to overwhelm any conventional defense system. The Silent Thunder's response demonstrated why humanity had survived its harsh evolutionary crucible. The ship's adaptive hull didn't just deflect the energy beams. It absorbed them, converting the hostile energy into additional power for its systems. Meanwhile, microscopic drones deployed automatically, spreading out in a defensive screen that could track and intercept incoming fire with precision beyond anything the attackers had imagined possible. No return fire, Chen ordered calmly. Defensive protocols only. Araya, prepare a demonstration. The AI's avatar smiled slightly. Demonstration package ready, Commander. Shall we show them why challenging the Deathworld species isn't wise? Proceed. What happened next would be studied in collective military academies for generations. The Silent Thunder's defensive screen of microdrones suddenly expanded, moving faster than the attacker's sensors could track. Each drone carried a tiny quantum field generator, technology that the collective had theorized but never successfully developed. In perfect synchronization, the drones created a complex web of intersecting quantum fields. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The attacking ships found their weapon systems suddenly desynchronized, their quantum communications disrupted, their engines fighting against spatial distortions that shouldn't have been possible to generate on such a small scale. "What are you doing?" The militant leader's voice had lost its harsh edge, replaced by something close to panic. "Our weapons. Our systems. We are demonstrating restraint," Chen replied evenly. "Your weapons and engines will return to normal once you power down and stand down. We have no desire to harm you or your crews." "Impossible," another voice cut in. "No ship could have this level of defensive capability without." "Without what?" Maya asked, genuinely curious. "Without being aggressive. Without being conquerors. You're applying your own logic to a species that evolved under completely different circumstances." The silent thunder hung motionless in space, its defensive screen maintaining perfect control over the now helpless attacking fleet. Chen stood, straightening her uniform. "Let me be clear. Humanity developed our technology not to dominate, but to survive. Earth taught us that raw power means nothing without the wisdom to use it properly. We could have destroyed your vessels the moment you appeared. Instead, we chose to demonstrate why fighting us is unnecessary." "Commander," ARIA interrupted, detecting multiple quantum signatures. "Collective council vessels approaching at maximum speed." "Perfect timing." Chen smiled. "Release the quantum fields, but maintain defensive readiness." The attacking ship's systems returned to normal, just as the council vessels arrived. Sleek, crystalline ships that quickly moved to surround the separatist fleet. High Counselor Zix's voice came through, heavy with authority. "Crimson Claw vessels, you have violated council law and attacked an honored diplomatic guest. Stand down immediately." What followed was almost anticlimactic. The separatist ships, their demonstration of force thoroughly undermined by the silent thunder's casual display of technological superiority, surrendered to council authorities without further resistance. Later, in a private communication with the council, Chen reviewed the incident. "We hope this demonstration helps explain why humanity values peace," she explained. "When you evolve on a world that constantly tries to kill you, you learn that survival depends more on cooperation and innovation than on aggression." "Your response was enlightening," Six admitted. "You could have destroyed them easily, yet you chose to simply neutralize their ability to fight. Such restraint, combined with such power, is exactly why we're here," Maya interjected. "Humanity wants to join the galactic community, to share knowledge and culture. We've learned through hard experience that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when not to." As the council vessels escorted the detained separatist ships away, Chen stood at the observation window, watching the stars. The incident had proven what she'd hoped to demonstrate from the beginning, that humanity's harsh evolution had created not monsters, but survivors who understood the true value of peace. "ARIA," she said quietly, "send a message to Earth Command. Tell them Phase 1 of First Contact was successful, if a bit more exciting than planned." The AI's avatar appeared beside her, its expression thoughtful. "The collective will never be the same after this, Commander. They'd just learned that their assumptions about evolution and development might be completely wrong." "Good," Chen smiled. "The best diplomatic relations are built on mutual understanding and respect. Sometimes that respect needs to be earned the hard way." The silent thunder's adaptive hull shifted slightly, adjusting to a passing solar wind. In that simple action was a demonstration of everything that made humanity unique: the ability to adapt, to flow with the universe's challenges rather than fighting against them, to turn survival itself into an art form. The real work of diplomacy could begin now, built on a foundation of demonstrated strength and proven wisdom. Humanity had passed its first major test in galactic society not through force of arms, but through the very traits that had allowed them to survive and thrive on their deathworld home. The collective's central archive had never been so active, Researchers from all 15 member species crowded the vast crystalline chambers, their various forms clustered around data displays showing information about humanity's homeworld. Chief Researcher Nixis, her energy form flickering with excitement, directed the massive study effort. "Look at these atmospheric readings," she indicated to her team. Earth's atmosphere contains corrosive elements that would dissolve most species' respiratory systems. The humans don't just survive it, they evolved to require it. The data from Earth painted a picture that challenged everything the collective thought they knew about evolution. Massive gravity shifts from multiple moons, extreme temperature variations that could freeze or boil living tissue, regular extinction-level events that had reshaped the planet's biosphere multiple times. Their technological development timeline is even more fascinating, contributed research associate Kelvin, his crystalline form refracting light as he processed the data. From discovering powered flight to achieving faster-than-light travel in less than 3 centuries, the collective took nearly 2,000 years to make the same journey. On the Silent Thunder, Commander Chen and Dr. Patil hosted a constant stream of collective scientists, each eager to understand how humans had achieved what their theories said was impossible. The ship's observation lounge had become an impromptu lecture hall. "You have to understand," Maya explained to the latest group, "Earth gave us no choice but to innovate. When your world constantly tries to kill you, you either adapt or die. Humanity chose to adapt." A Serpentine researcher raised an appendage. "But your historical records show constant conflict among your own species. How did you survive such internal strife along with environmental challenges?" "Those conflicts drove innovation," Chen replied, earning surprised ripples from her audience. "Yes, warfare is terrible, but human conflict led to advances in medicine, material science, computing. When we finally achieved unity, we had centuries of technological progress to draw upon." In another section of the archive, researchers studied human physical capabilities with growing amazement. "Their endurance is beyond anything we've encountered," reported biological specialist Zora, her scaled form shifting with excitement. "They evolved as persistence hunters, capable of pursuing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Even now, they can continue functioning under conditions that would incapacitate most species." The Silent Thunder's medical bay became another point of fascination. Dr. Helen Zhang, the ship's chief medical officer, found herself explaining human biological adaptations to incredulous collective scientists. "Our bones don't just support us against Earth's gravity," she demonstrated on a holographic display. "They actively remodel themselves based on stress patterns. Our immune system doesn't just fight disease, it remembers and adapts. Even our digestive system can process substances that would be lethal to most species." But it was humanity's psychological adaptations that truly captured the collective's attention. The concept of human resilience, the ability to face adversity, adapt to it, and grow stronger from the experience, seemed almost mythical to species that had evolved in relatively safe environments. "Your entertainment contains recurring themes of overcoming impossible odds," noted cultural analyst Vix, studying human literature and media. "You don't just survive challenges. You actively seek them out. Your species turns adversity into opportunity." Araya, monitoring these interactions, contributed her own unique perspective. Humans created artificial intelligence not to replace themselves, but to enhance their natural capabilities. They approached technology as a partnership, not a crutch. In the council chambers, High Counselor Zix reviewed the growing mountain of research data. The Silent Thunder incident had proven human technological superiority, but these studies revealed something far more significant. Humans hadn't just survived their harsh evolution, they had turned every challenge into an advantage. Their adaptive hull technology, a technical advisor reported, "It's based on principles we considered theoretically impossible." They didn't just overcome the limitations, they found a way to make those limitations work for them. The implications shook the foundations of collective science. Their careful, methodical approach to technological development had produced remarkable achievements. But humanity's trial-by-fire evolution had forced them to think differently, to see possibilities where the collective saw only obstacles. Back on the Silent Thunder, Chen received the preliminary analysis of the collective's response to humanity. "They're afraid of us," she noted, reading the reports. "Not because of our technology or capabilities, but because we represent something they've never had to face, a species that thrives on challenge." Maya nodded thoughtfully. "Fear or fascination? It's a fine line. They're beginning to understand that Earth's harsh conditions didn't create monsters. They created innovators, problem solvers, survivors who learned to turn adversity into advantage." "Commander," HFY interrupted, "the Council has just issued a remarkable request. They want to establish a joint research initiative. They're offering to share their entire scientific database in exchange for human insights into adaptive technology and problem-solving methodologies." Chen smiled. This was what she had hoped for, not just acceptance, but genuine collaboration. The collective's methodical, careful approach to science complemented humanity's innovative, challenge-seeking nature. Together, they could achieve things neither civilization could manage alone. "Send them our acceptance," she ordered. "And add a personal note. Tell them we look forward to facing new challenges together." As the Silent Thunder's adaptive hull shifted in the starlight, reflecting the combined brilliance of the sector's twin suns, Shen contemplated the future. Humanity had emerged from their crucible of evolution not just survived, but transformed. Now they could help guide the collective toward a similar transformation, not through force or fear, but through understanding and cooperation. The impossible, they were learning, was just another problem waiting to be solved. 1 month after first contact, the Silent Thunder floated in the heart of the collective's capital system. Its adaptive hull sparkled with an iridescent sheen, a deliberate display programmed for the historic occasion. Inside, Commander Chen adjusted her dress uniform, preparing for the most important diplomatic ceremony in human history. "The collective assembly is ready to begin, Commander," Araya announced. "All 15 species are represented, along with the Earth delegation that arrived yesterday." Chen nodded, studying her reflection. "How are our guests adapting to the ship's environment?" "The environmental adaptation systems are performing perfectly," the AI reported, though several delegates have expressed amazement that we can accommodate such diverse biological needs simultaneously. They're still learning that overcoming impossible challenges is a human specialty. The observation lounge had been transformed into a conference chamber, with representatives from Earth and the collective gathered around a circular table, a human touch that symbolized equality. High Counselor Zix's crystalline form pulsed with diplomatic colors as the session began. "1 month ago," Zix addressed the assembly, "we encountered a species that challenged everything. We thought we knew about evolution, technology, and the nature of civilization itself. Today, we take the first step toward a future that none of us could have imagined." The main display activated, showing the results of the Joint Research Initiative. In just 1 month, the combination of human innovation and collective resources had produced breakthroughs in multiple fields. The Silent Thunder's adaptive hull technology, once merged with collective crystalline engineering, had led to developments in environmental protection, space habitat design, and medical stasis fields. "Humanity's unique perspective has shown us possibilities we never considered," continued Zix. "Their ability to thrive in conditions we thought impossible has taught us that our own limitations were largely self-imposed." Dr. Maya Patel presented the cultural exchange findings. "What we've discovered is that our differences make us stronger together. The collective's stable, methodical approach provides a perfect foundation for human innovation. We challenge each other to grow, to think differently, to find new solutions." The assembly watched in amazement as holographic displays showed the first joint human collective project, a new class of exploration vessel. It combined the Silent Thunder's adaptive technology with collective crystalline architecture, creating a ship that could truly go where no one had gone before. But perhaps most importantly, Chen addressed the assembly. We've learned from each other's history. The collective has shown us how peaceful cooperation can create stable, lasting civilizations. In return, we've demonstrated that facing challenges head-on can lead to extraordinary growth. The former leader of the Crimson Claw faction, now reformed after witnessing human capabilities firsthand, spoke next. I once feared what humanity's strength might mean for our future. Now I understand that true strength lies not in the ability to win conflicts, but in the wisdom to make them unnecessary. The assembly chamber's displays shifted to show real-time images from across collective space. Human engineers worked alongside collective scientists, combining their knowledge to solve problems neither civilization could handle alone. Medical teams shared insights, leading to treatments that could help both humanity and collective species survive in previously hostile environments. The galaxy is changing, Maya observed, watching the images, not through conquest or competition, but through collaboration. Every challenge we face together makes both our civilizations stronger. The formal treaty signing proceeded smoothly, but it was what happened afterward that truly symbolized the new era. As the delegates mingled, sharing stories and ideas, the barriers between species seemed to fade. Humanity's adaptive nature had rubbed off on the collective, while their steady, thoughtful approach helped temper human impetuousness. Later, in a quiet moment on the Thunder's Bridge, Chen stood with Maya and Araya, watching the combined fleet of human and collective ships preparing for the first joint exploration mission. Did you ever imagine this outcome when we first arrived? Maya asked. Chen smiled, remembering the tension of that first encounter. I hoped for it. Earth taught us that the greatest achievements often come from the most challenging circumstances. We just had to show the collective that what they saw as impossible was really an opportunity in disguise. The statistical probability of such a successful integration was relatively low, Araya noted. But then, humans have always had a habit of defying probability. The Silent Thunder's adaptive hull shimmed slightly, adjusting to a passing solar flare. The movement caught the attention of a group of collective scientists, who immediately began discussing possible applications of the technology for their own ships. This was how progress happened now, not through careful isolation or aggressive competition, but through shared curiosity and cooperative innovation. We've started something remarkable here, Chen mused, watching a collective crystalline ship practicing the new adaptive maneuvers they'd learned from human engineers. Not just diplomatic relations or technological exchange, but a whole new way of approaching the galaxy's challenges. Maya nodded, her eyes on the stars. Earth forged us in fire, taught us to adapt, to innovate, to survive. Now we can use those lessons to help others grow, to show them that limitations are often just opportunities waiting to be discovered.